Go ahead.
Okay, so this email was sent to the Joint Office of Homelessness Services on 11/24 of 2024. To whom it may concern, I currently reside at one of the tiny home communities ran by Urban Alchemy. I entered into the pod community on May 1st, 2024. Since entering into the community, I have lost my eligibility for help from the county with housing, as I am in a weird way more stable now, apparently, than what I was in my trailer. Coming to Reedway has reduced my chances of securing permanent housing. I've had my food stolen by staff on a number of occasions. It has been replaced only once. I was sternly told that Reedway does not accept responsibility for lost or stolen items, no matter what they are, and that would be the one and only time my food would be replaced. I've had my 1973 all-original Swin bicycle that is valued between $350 and $700 stolen by a guest who resides at Reedway. She was seen taking parts off my bike on camera and taking the bike from the pod grounds, and seen by another guest that lives at Reedway stashing the bike and riding it after I reported it stolen. I have on numerous occasions written grievances regarding the theft of my bike, yet nothing has been done. When my repeated reports to staff about my bike being stolen yielded no action, I filed a police report and was scolded, kind of, for contacting the police by a staff member. A staff member also lied to the officer about being given a report of the person taking parts off my bike. The person who stole my bike has since taken to nonstop harassing me and stalking me whenever I'm on site at Reedway, making me feel fearful for my safety, as she is not mentally stable. I say this because she hits herself in the face with rocks and gives herself black eyes. And the staff at Reedway do nothing about this. They do not report it, to my knowledge. They do not send her out for psychiatric evaluations, nothing. She's just left to beat herself with rocks, stalk other people, harass other people, and act violently towards others by doing things like throwing things at their tiny home, or screaming threats and using profanities towards other people, slamming doors, breaking things, yet nothing gets done. I personally seen her steal mail from a residence at one of our neighborhood houses. I reported it and nothing was done regarding it. I have now taken to staying in my car most of the time, because due to the traumas I have been through in my life, and this year her behavior is very alarming to me. I fear for my personal safety. I fear for my belongings being stolen and nothing being done about it. Who knows what she is capable of? I mean, she hits herself in the face with a rock and gives herself black eyes. Why is this not being addressed? The staff here are mandated reporters, are they not? Despite my repeated complaints and other guests complaining regarding her, nothing is being done. Actually, I got asked if I would be willing to move locations. I said I would, but nothing has been done to move me. I'm going to Arizona for Thanksgiving and won't return until the 5th of December. Hopefully my sending this email will do something to motivate somebody to get that woman some help before she does something traumatic and dangerous and harms someone besides herself. As of today, Sunday, November 24th, she has now started unplugging the power to my unit. She just did it. This is getting out of control. I hope to return to a safer place that I am in some ways being forced to stay at, as this city has taken a discriminatory stance against the homeless, forcing us into basically concentration camps. That claim to provide a safe place to stay and have our belongings, well, I'm here to tell you this is not correct. Seems a little bit more like organized crime ring in some ways. My hope is that when I return, I will be able to access housing through somewhere else. Like I said, I was informed that I no longer qualify for help from the county because my score on my Vispadat dropped since coming to Reedway. Vispadat is like a assessment that they do for emergency housing. The higher you score, the more immediate your housing is funded to you, I guess.
Okay, and what's this housing? This is Reedway housing?
This is Urban Alchemy's safe tiny home village, this Reedway Safe Rest Village.
Okay.
On 104th and Reedway.
Okay.
Okay, where'd I go?
You're doing great. Keep going.
Thank you. My opinion is that I'm a domestic violence victim, a sexual violence victim, a survivor of more than one instance. I have severe PTSD, severe anxiety, depression, social avoidance, fear of government officials, and now because county personnel made me come to Reedway, now I'm not eligible in Multnomah County for help with housing? Like, seriously? Because now I'm stabilized? because I'm in a temporary long-term shelter. I hope at the very least this gets, I'm not going to say her name, that person who is mentally unstable and a safety risk to herself and others some help. Hopefully it does more than that, however. Multnomah County isn't exactly what I would call a for the people county. Quite opposite, in fact, in my opinion. Should you have any questions or clarification or anything else, please call or text me at my phone number. I look forward to some assistance with this safety issue and growing concern. So in response to that, I received back, "Thank you, Donna. Thank you for reaching out to the Joint Office of Homeless Services to share about your experiences during your time at Reedway. We do not work directly with Urban Alchemy, as they are contracted through the City of Portland. Brandy Westerman and Molly Valachassini, included here, both work for the City of Portland."
Say all their names.
Okay, Brandy Westerman and Molly Valachassini, included here, both work for the City of Portland and can connect you on next steps towards resolving your grievances with Urban Alchemy. So in response to that, I sent, this is someone that's forwarded you. Hang on just a second, sorry. Okay, in response to that one, where I was told about Molly Valachassini and Brandy Westerman, I sent an email to Molly Valachassini. Hello, Molly. I figured I would let you know that after being told Friday night by another guest at Reedway, this is on 12/7/2024, sorry. And then overhearing staff at Reedway talking about how Urban Alchemy staff were just planning to target me once I got transferred to Clinton Triangle and harass me to the extent that I would choose to leave on my own accord, I had to decline the offer of the transfer to that location. I do not need to endure any kind of inexcusable, inappropriate, and unprofessional behavior from anyone, much less from staff of an organization that is supposed to be helping me. I am no longer at Reedway either. I questioned my safety there prior. Now it's almost a fear for my safety to stay there, especially with the staff being upset with my going above their heads to get help from someone to try and address my concerns. While this is not exactly the resolution I was looking for, I feel safer in my car than I had come to feel staying at Reedway. Thanks for the attempt in assisting me. I will figure something out. I always do. Have a great day and weekend. Happy holidays. And I got back. What did I get?
So now you're living in your car, correct?
Yes. However, there was bouts of going back to Reedway and leaving again and going back to Reedway and leaving again. I think it's been like 3 times. The first time was the time I just mentioned. And then there was the time when my dog OD'd on fentanyl when I was at flagging certification class. And then now, since my dog got the chemical burns on her head and neck, and since my pod door has been left open by staff, or I don't know who, not me, because I wasn't there, and just every time I go there, because I don't have a passenger window, people are getting into my car and taking my stuff, and like I park close to the gate. The people on shift right there that are admitting you in and out, going through your bags and whatnot, they'd be able to hear somebody getting into my car. But nothing gets done. Like a resident got into my car and took a blanket that she thought was hers, walked by me and mentioned something about taking the blanket out of my car. I reported it to the supervisor on shift and it didn't go anywhere. And then I asked the director about it and she said fill out a grievance. So I filled out the grievance, but the grievances are pointless. They don't do anything. They get thrown in the garbage.
Did you have one more email?
Yeah, I have a bunch. Okay, so...
How about one of the 2 you sent me?
That was one of the ones I just sent you. So... okay. So this was on January 20th of 2025. This is from me to Molly. Molly, it's been over a month since you and I spoke on the phone regarding me coming back to Reedway until a transfer could be accomplished. I thought I would share a little bit of insight and information with you regarding Reedway, its staff, the way things are done here, and some other things I feel are pretty important and should probably be addressed ASAP. So, Tashina, I don't know her last name. She doesn't work there no more, though. She is now at CCC, I believe. Tashina is ruining this place. She seriously does not care about any. She seriously does nothing but sit in her office and smoke on her vape pen, and then roll her eyes when she is forced to deal with a guest. I have staff here telling me that Tashina is not doing anything to get me transferred, which is made blatantly clear by the lack of progress on me transferring, and that the only thing that had her moving was when I contacted you the last time. So if I want anything to happen, I need to contact you again to light a fire under Tashina's ass. Otherwise, nothing is going to get done. From what I heard last week, Tashina told another guest she's planning on getting Elizabeth transferred now. Apparently, all the property damage Elizabeth has been doing to the people's vehicles and personal property is getting out of hand. A few days after I returned to Reedway, I personally overheard evening shift and night shift staff talking about overheard evening shift and night shift staff talking in the pavilion by my pod, and I overheard a staff member say to the other staff members that I gave another guest AIDS. This is absolutely unacceptable. It's against the law. It's a HIPAA violation. Not to mention, it's completely freaking untrue. I reported it to the night shift supervisor the night I heard it, and I asked for a grievance form from the guy at the front gate. I was told that they didn't give them out. The night supervisor was supposed to leave one for me in my file at the gate, and he did not. He also did not pass on to the next shift that I made the report about hearing that. When I returned to Reedway after that, I went to talk to care coordination and Tashina, and when Tashina found out that it was me, in the care coordination office with a complaint, she rolled her eyes and reluctantly came in to hear what I had to say. After I said what I had heard, Tashina's response was, "I'll have to tell staff to watch where they're talking so guests can't hear them." This is absolutely unbelievable, unethical, and just absurd. When I first came to Reedway, it was nice here. I felt welcomed and protected. That has not been the case since Marcy and Tashina were transferred here. The majority of staff here do not do their jobs, like the 30-minute walks. Yeah, right. They just call over the radio that they did it. The staff can be heard using vulgar language at very audible tones at all hours of the night, screaming across the whole site to one another when they have radios. There are staff that creep outside guest pod windows and linger in the shadows. Staff here steal guests' property, which just happened like 3 days ago again. Staff moved a guest's bike, and now it can't be located. And then that guest was exited by the same staff that moved his bike, which just happened to be an $1,800 electric bike. Now nobody can find it. 85% of the staff here always have their phones out and are playing on them, talking on them while they're on the clock. The daytime supervisor, Mark, he walks around calling guests property garbage and knocking it over, causing it to crash to their pods. He did so with my bike. All he would do is mop the floors when he comes on, where you could see footprints on the floor in the bathrooms. I'm sure that's why several people here contracted MRSA a few months ago, because he doesn't clean the bathrooms appropriately. The staff here now have restricted all guests from bringing in property. They've now started closing the kitchen at 10 p.m., which means that from 10 p.m. to 7 p.m., or 10 p.m. to 7 a.m., we cannot have anything microwaved, no hot water, no coffee, no access to our own food in the fridge. Plus, on top of that, we now no longer have the right to store food in the freezer here. We can't have fridges or microwaves in our pods, or coffee pots, or hot plates, or even extension cords. But the staff here keep redirecting back to all guests that we signed an agreement when we came in. Well, absolutely none of that is in the agreement, and therefore, to my understanding, that's a breach of contract. Furthermore, about the contract, Tashina tried to tell me that I can't leave my dog in my pod while I'm at work, that it states in the contract that can't be done. That's absolutely incorrect. I know because I have the contract on my phone. Furthermore, there's at least 10 people I know of personally that have sticks they put in front of their door so their dogs cannot open the door while the owner is off site and the dog is left in the pod. So on the inside of the pods, the door is like a bathroom handle, where you slide it down and it opens no matter if it's locked or not. So if a dog jumps up and uses his paw and pushes the handle down, the door pops open, the dog gets out.
Yep.
So, I am like literally the only person on site that has an actual legitimate job, and it seems Tashina is trying to sabotage me and my job. Seems what I heard staff say about targeting me and harassing me until I chose to leave isn't really that far off. This place has become an absolute nightmarish joke. The rules change more frequently than some people who live here shower. Most of the staff here hate working here and won't tell anybody that. There's no repercussions, no consequences, no follow-through to acting out or breaking the rules unless you irritate somebody with authority. Some of the staff act worse than the guests that live here and have absolutely no respect or consideration for those that live here. No one is trained to do their job correctly, much less are they trained on how to handle anybody having a mental episode. They can't even handle their own. The only reason my assessment got done a month late was because I emailed people and called Tashina inquiring what was going on with me. By the way, please refrain from informing her of my contacting you, as she has a tendency of making comments about it in a snide way. I can show you in the text messages. There are a few people who work here that actually do their job and actually are good at it. And I'm pretty sure you can count them all on both hands. They're getting tired of the way things are going downhill here, and they're about to leave. I'd hate to see that happen because it's going to turn real bad real quick here if that does. Do you realize that there are like 6 people housed here who are on the cities or surrounding cities Can You ID Me website for theft crimes or property crimes? There are at least 3 more people that live here that sell fentanyl on site. The wellness or discrimination is going to end up with a bunch of lawsuits being filed, as the staff have started withholding food from people who are not on the wellness side. They're not well, so they don't need it, is their answer. A person was exited from here because they went to a narcotics meeting on the wellness side, and they were on the community side. They're not allowed over here, but we're allowed over there. The other side has been using this side's laundry facilities. Oh, sorry, I was talking in like my own personal. So the wellness side has been using the community side, laundry facilities, shower, fridge, freezer, which is why we now only have 2 working dryers on the community side. And the 2 working dryers, it leaves way less time to do laundry. And nobody's allowed to store freezer food on site, but wellness is. I've taken it upon myself to fill out the application for permanent supportive housing because this place can't even seem to control their employees. All I want is help with housing, and 8, almost 9 months, it has been apparently too much to ask of this place. I'm at the point I'm not asking anymore, as it has proven pointless. I have actually contacted the news and am talking to them about doing a story to try and get some help for myself and others in similar situations that seem to just keep getting looked over. Brushed to the side, bullied, targeted, and drove out of our minds. I have reached out to a couple of law firms regarding the gross negligence of Urban Alchemy and its staff, as well as the HIPAA violation recently, and I'm not sure of what may come of that. If you look at what happened to Peninsula, and here since last summer when Marcy and Tashina were brought in, it's blatantly obvious that neither one of them need to be in the positions that they are in. They are running these places into the ground. Miranda, Sunny, Pierre, Nancy, Jen, Ian, Damien, Eli, Molly, Al, both Andrews, Phil, Antoinette, Gina, Angel, these people I just listed, they actually care about the people that they're trying to help here, and they actually try to help them. There's people that are here now do not. There's not a doubt in my mind that if Tashina is left where she is by this time next year, you will have had numerous lawsuits filed and will probably be looking at closing this place down due to the crime surging, the complaints from the guests, and the neighborhood alike. However, I'm no one in a position that my opinion or my rights matter, as has been very obviously proven repetitively since being here at Reedway. So, since then, there have been, I believe, 2 lawsuits filed from Reedway. One was a sexual abuse or a sexual harassment suit from a guest toward staff. And Urban Alchemy just relocated the staff member. They did not fire him.
Really?
That's what they do. Like the guy that runs the Portland sites, he's from California. His name's Tracy. He was transferred here because he had 2 sexual harassment lawsuits in California that they paid out over $1 million to settle, where he was either sexually harassing a client, guest, or a coworker. Not only that, since then, the girl that was harassing me, she has OD'd more than 5 times. She no longer can see 100%. She has to have a person guide her wherever she's going now. And it was not like that when I first moved there.
So I'm going to ask you 2 final questions.
Yes, sir.
So you said you got mold in
Yeah,
your...
I have pictures of the mold.
You got mold in your eye from staying there?
Yeah.
And then what about, you were talking about, do they leak?
Yeah. Like, when it rained, let's see. When it rained, I'll say northeast, the water would come straight into my door on the wellness side. Like, even though they're raised up off the floor, the way the angling is without no door strip on the bottom, the rain can just flow right in.
Do they leak from the roof too or no?
No, not. Some do, yes. I'm not going to say that none do because they're really, really shitty. They are definitely not worth $16,000
Wow.
each.
All right, thank you so much.
Mhm.
And that's how it is when you're living in one of those tiny homes. That's her experience, you guys. Appreciate you.